Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here for WeAreChange.org, and we have a lot to go over today. Beginning with this interview from Julian Assange that was taken just before his complete blackout, and it is a stunning and insightful one. We're also going to be going over a range of news from, yes, the big Beyonce Illuminati story to iPhone adapting the China social credit score system secretly for its users. But first, I want to remind everybody we are a truly independent news organization, and without your support, without your financial help, we cannot exist. So please consider donating or possibly hitting the join button underneath this video. For only $4.99 a month, you get a badge, you get some emojis, we interact with you more on the live streams, and it helps support independent media such as We Are Change so much. You just can't imagine how important it is. Now, when we look at this video, first of all, it's not even being reported on in the mainstream Western press. You're not seeing it on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Breitbart is about the only semi-mainline news organization that I've seen report about this interview, and it is a stunning one. Assange said in the interview, "The generation being born now is the last free generation. You are born and either immediately or within, say, a year, you are known globally. Your identity in one form or another, coming as a result of your idiotic parents plastering your name and photos all over Facebook, or as a result of insurance applications or passport applications, is known to all major world powers." And this is indeed the Track Trace Database Society that I have warned about for years, folks. And it is a scary one, and Assange knows this. Throughout, he warns of artificial intelligence. In fact, one of the most stunning things that I think he said was the fact that he got into WikiLeaks while he was doing encryption programming, and he was trying to decrypt physical reality. This is a very important and insightful interview. He basically says that the new model goes way beyond just this model of you being a consumer and them digitally taking information to sell you things, to the big data AI model where it incorporates everything into this new economic system that we have yet to see fully come into fruition. He even talks about killer robots, and folks, we had our first drone-on-drone shoot-down earlier this week with a military drill and the Reaper drone. Now, one of the last tidbits that I thought was very, very interesting that he talked about when talking about the boldness of WikiLeaks, he said that they won't publish child pornography. And you have to ask yourself why he would even include that in its answer if indeed they had not found evidence of that with some of the things they have released previously.
WikiLeaks is designed in its structure, because it kind of suits the sort of things I like doing, to be the boldest but still credible publisher. It's an interesting tension, that but still credible. By that, I mean we're very bold, not so bold that we publish child pornography. That would certainly be bold.
So what does the press want to talk about when it comes to WikiLeaks and Julian Assange? Well, The Guardian is reporting that Russia had a secret plan to extradite Assange and help him escape from the UK. Now, I don't know whether or not this report is true, but this is something we are seeing across the board on other large Western media outlets. That being said, whether it's true or not, Moscow is officially denying that. And this is coming from Sputnik News, yes, one of the official mouthpieces of Russia, and says that them trying to extradite Assange is in fact fake news. But let me tell you what is not fake news, folks. The fact that Google is manipulating searches yet again. And we've seen these tech companies do their best to control the flow of information, especially in light of the fact it seems to have worked against them in the past. They were not able to sway the election towards Hillary Clinton, which we've seen was absolutely something the majority of people at Google wanted. When you watch that internal video shortly after the elections, it is unbelievable what these people say and how they look. And we've covered this in previous videos. So this time, they're looking for ways to send a better and bigger pro-immigration message. And folks, this is why we need more decentralization on the internet. Because as this goes on, what do we have? We have Apple quietly giving people trust scores based on their iPhone data. And I'm not saying that Google is any better. After all, you can turn off the location services and try to turn off as many features to gain your privacy. And it's already been shown that they also share your data. In fact, right now, there is an Arizona prosecutor looking into the matter and possibly filing criminal charges against Google. But this isn't new that Apple would want to do this. No. You see, Facebook already did it, and we covered it. And that's why some of these headlines, like Facebook, Apple wants to create a trust score about you. And remember, this trust score will go beyond just who's in your phone book, who you're text messaging, but your friends and your friends' friends and their behavior and their locations and their smart data, what they're doing on their phone, the Snapchatting, the Facebooking. It's all there, okay? And Apple going further into business with China, because we know they've been working with China from the get-go, the Foxconn factories and the suicide nets, folks. That's the morality of these companies. And they are going with that Chinese model of a social credit score. This one's out of IFL Science. Now, we've covered the social credit score before, but this article is brand new, and there are a lot of mainstream articles out there this week about China's social credit score and how it is dystopian and how it is insane and how it is coming into full fruition by 2020. And, you know, previously talking about Assange, he was very open with the fact that not only is this the new economy, but the two biggest players are indeed China and the United States. And folks, I hate to tell you this, but in many ways they're not really competing. They're working in unison. And this track trace database society is only going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And with this digital society getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the move towards digital money going further and further and further, it is horrifying to note that PayPal has now banned InfoWars. Now, I'm not defending everything that InfoWars does and says, but I am defending their right to have commerce, to be able to exchange funds. And you can go all the way back to a film called America, Freedom to Fascism by Aaron Russo, who I spoke to many times leading up to his unfortunate demise. And it clearly shows you in there that the move is not only to a digital currency, but eventually a microchip. And if you don't behave, they just turn off your chip. Well, this is a precursor to that in the fact that they're just going to not allow you to use a huge monetary service. And what happens when these are the only services that you can use on the internet to have commerce, to have an audience, to create revenue for yourself? So this is yet another step, and it goes way beyond just deplatforming. Now they're immediately attacking InfoWars finance. Now, folks, as this insanity is going on, I had to point to this story where a mother had the good sense enough to punish her 15-year-old daughter by taking her iPhone away. And where did it end her up? It ended her up in court. Yes, she ended up in court because she disciplined her daughter. This shows how ludicrous our justice system can be. And it also shows how ridiculous people treat one another. Of course, it was her ex-husband who filed the charges against the mother, and luckily they were eventually thrown out. But it shows the insanity and the entitlement of society that we would actually end up in a scenario where a parent disciplines her child by taking away her spoil box, and she ends up in a courtroom. And folks, now for the story I know many of you have been waiting for. Yes, Beyonce. She's being accused by her former drummer of being into extreme witchcraft, sexual molestation, and even killing her kitten. Now, this comes from the blast. It really hasn't been verified outside of this, but they have court documents. They're right here. They've been filed. You can see them behind me. And I know there have been rumors for years that Beyonce and Jay-Z are a part of the Illuminati and into dark black magic. And they've certainly played that up in the press. And we have seen performances by Beyonce, I believe her Super Bowl performance, that definitely had tones of occultism, if not overtones of occultism in them. But like every time, you really have to look at where it's coming from. And I just watched a 1.5-minute long video that you can watch at the end of this. And, you know, people have their moments. Who knows how valid this is? But she definitely seems unhinged. Whether or not Beyonce and Jay-Z are truly into witchcraft, truly into black magic, absolutely remains to be seen. But this is the kind of tabloid stuff that Newsweek, CNN, all these mainstream outlets love to run with, and that's why we had to cover it here. Folks, I want to thank you all for joining me. I want to remind you, we have the backup channel, Pulse Change. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Take this video, put it out on social media, and folks, most importantly, be the change you want to see in the world.